If your goal is to become as strong as possible, Daniel, which lifting tempo should you have?
When you're training for maximum strength, what seems to be fairly certain at this point is that it's better to lift in the concentric phase, to lift as fast as possible, which might be slow in some cases when you're lifting a really heavy weight, but you shouldn't deliberately slow it down. Rather, you should do the opposite and deliberately try to lift that weight as fast as possible, but still in a controlled manner. The studies have shown that leads to bigger strength gains, and it's because of like larger muscle recruitment and an increased force output. So essentially, when you're trying to lift a given weight faster than when you're trying to lift slowly, you produce more force and you're essentially lifting a heavier weight. But when it comes to lowering the weight, things are a bit more counterintuitive. This recent meta-analysis of 8 studies showed a small and uncertain, but still a small hint of a benefit to lowering the weight slowly, like over 3 to 4 seconds, compared to taking 1 to 2 seconds on your eccentric phase. And this was in strength tests where the concentric portion is the most difficult one. It was exercises like free barbell squats, Smith machine squats, bicep curls, leg presses, and leg extensions. So, I mean, when you fail in these exercises, you are failing in the concentric portions. And still, over 8 weeks of training, the groups that trained with a deliberately slower eccentric phase, 3 to 4 seconds on the way down, seemed to gain slightly more strength. A small effect and uncertain, but still better strength gains, which is, well, counterintuitive.
Yeah, I would guess that a lot of people, when first starting out in the gym, they almost skip the eccentric phase, meaning they have zero control when, for instance, lowering a leg extension back down before kicking it up, meaning they are not getting the benefits of the eccentric training at all.
Yeah.
And just slowing it down a bit would make them more proficient in the exercise in question and also give some extra gains from the eccentric phase.
Yeah, because we've seen in some other research that if you were to only do the concentric phase or only do the eccentric phase, that the eccentric phase seems to be more important not only for muscle growth, but also for the concentric strength, meaning that you might get better at lifting a weight by practicing lowering it down, and that doing both the concentric and the eccentric, so both the up and downwards portion, you can't seem to beat that even if you were to do twice as many concentric only reps. So there seems to be something important in the eccentric portion of a lift. Still, seems kind of counterintuitive to deliberately slow your squats down to maybe almost double the lowering tempo than what you usually use in your training. And my best guess would be that maybe it's something akin to like a paused squat, but instead of like a full pause, you're kind of just gradually smearing that pause out over the lower portion of the lift. Or maybe it's something else.
Yeah, I don't think we have enough meat on the bones to fully recommend aiming for 4 seconds or 5 seconds or whatever. But I think we can say with some confidence that just slowing things down a bit, especially as earlier in your training life, will give you a better technique, will give you a better training effect, and you will reap the benefits. And just to be totally anecdotal here, when you look at more experienced lifters at the powerlifting stage at the World Championship, a lot of the strongest lifters, they lift with a lot of control. If we exclude the Americans never have any control.
Ouch. Don't keep kicking America.
No, but I think that this is something people that stay in the gym for long enough, for enough years, they learn to control the weights more to continue reaping the benefits of actual strength training. So maybe aim for 2 seconds instead of 0.75.
Yeah, I think that's where we're at right now. That we are getting fairly certain that lifting fast on the way up is a good thing when you're training for strength, and that you should at least control the weight on the way down. Then if it makes a big difference whether or not you lower it over 1 second or 4 seconds, well, that we'll see when we have more research on this. But it's kind of interesting. And
Absolutely.
this really makes me want to see a deadlift training study where one group trains the deadlift as most powerlifters do and just lower the weight quickly down with just a tiny bit of control, and one group lowers it over like 4 seconds. I would love to see the results from that to see which is better. I have a hunch that the deadlift might be the exercise out of the 3 powerlifts that benefits the most from that type of training, but I don't know.
No, but I think you're onto something there. There's something special with the world's most annoying lift, deadlift.
Yeah, and making it even more annoying.
Yeah, but still, if I were to try to put words to why I dislike the lift so much, is that yes, it involves a lot of your body, but is it the best lift for any individual muscle group being trained? But adding more eccentric work in might make it a better exercise.
Yeah,
for targeting those muscle groups.
Yeah, might do.
Who knows, man?